Hello, lovely subscribers, watchers, listeners. This is Concordia Consularis Africa, the spiritual and business agency of peace. Today, we're having an in-depth look at what is going on in South Africa. It's completely ridiculous. It stinks of corruption. So we're going to get into that without further delay, apart from one thing, Quantum Love Experience on the 3rd of February, 2023 for your upshift as a healer. The more you love and the more you love frequency of the source that you can hold in your body, the better your sessions will be, and you will achieve higher outcomes as a result, not only for your client base, but for yourself in your existence, expanding into a world where you are infinitely huge and bigger than the system. This is the point that I'm trying to make with it. It's not just something that you just experience for 5 minutes. This will flow through into your existence and reality all the time, which is great for the rest of your existence, into the next one, because this is the way that it works. This is not a lightweight procedure. This is for those that really want to upshift and give it their 150% best shot in this world. And I'm so pleased to bring this offering through. Do get in contact with me on the links below. Anyway, without further ado, hello, Harrison. Hello, Derek.
Hi, Angela. How are you doing?
Cooking on gas and electric.
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic here.
Nice to see you, Harrison, again.
Yeah, nice to see you too, guys.
Thank you.
Right, so without further ado, let's fling and emerge into the spiritual court of equity. All ancestors present. I can hear shamanic drums beating, waiting for this.
I had that too.
Great.
Yeah, it was like a kind of an entrance.
Really, isn't it? Because they know. It's wonderful. Yeah, I kind of like that in a way.
Yeah.
I've arrived. Anyway. On. And we're in this spiritual court of equity. We're going to invite all members of all political parties in South Africa. We want to focus here a bit on the African National Congress and all the other leaders. Let's have a look, and we're going to bring in the French that are involved in this, probably the French Council. I can't remember their name right now, but the French Council here that are involved with England in a deep relationship since Britain left and before the Britain left the EU. Because remember, essentially, in Britain, you are French. Lead, but also other European cultures there, German as well. Ooh, it's a bit kind of dark in here, and there's a bit of, we're really going to go into a dirty area this morning. So let's have a look now. Derek, would you like to give a rough background to this spiritual court of equity and present the data found?
Yes, I'd just like all the viewers to understand that we here on the ground on Earth, in the countries there, I'm actually in South Africa, and the spiritual court of equity is working through the different densities or dimensions. And it's a spiritual court, so they can spiritually bring in all the figures that we're dealing with on the earth plane. And, they'll be brought into the court. The courts are very busy at the moment, doing the work that we've come here to do today already. They already acknowledge the work that we're going to be doing, working with the African National Congress and all the parties in South Africa that are service to self for themselves, and they're not service to the country. They're not service for the people. They're raping and pillaging this country and then giving absolutely zilch back. So once again, this is also, the court is working for the freedom of humanity. They are working for the freedom of Earth and to raise the vibrational frequency of the Earth and of the people of the Earth as the Earth moves forward to higher frequencies of love, light, density.
Great. So this is actually, from a sensory perspective, this is absolutely, this court being walked in to different factions and groups of domination control are dripping in absolute contempt and disgust in themselves. Really interesting to observe. Their frequency is really detritus. I'm just encouraging and asking for this to be made more comfortable, because actually this is in all the spiritual courts of equity that we've observed through. This has got to be the filthiest that I've seen. There are a lot of 2D influences in here too. So it's like access to up from old dimensions. Density had their doors closed to prevent the bleed through here are sorted and dealt with. Wow.
Yes, and what I'm also picking up is that the people in power in South Africa and different government organizations are also heavily involved in child trafficking and making money out of that and out of adrenochrome. And it's very, very, very dark. So you're 100% correct, Angela. It's absolutely filthy, filthy, dirty.
Oof.
Yeah, I too I can
Really?
confirm that, because I was seeing this marketing like being spread all over. And then I'm seeing there's a lot of influence from the dark wizards, where they are using a lot of these dark magic to keep people in this perpetual loop, so that when this field is being experienced, people don't kind of revolt. It's like a way of keeping them in line.
Right, I'm going to go a stage further with this, because it's very tempting to do so. This is the cloak of suppression. It's, what's the word beginning with A? Can't remember right now. This is a cloak of suppression in South Africa, but it's preventing people awakening. And we're just going to revisit all planetoids that are literally directing this level of suppression. We will find it at the moon with the installation of these new, let's say, what am I going to say here? With the installation and utilization of various planetoid technologies. Now, some people might be fiddling around in the past, probably. We know who you are already because it's already come forth, and we know what deals have been done behind the scenes because it's been observed. Now, it's irrelevant who at this point. We just want it off. So I'm just negotiating that put this in. Your observations are very welcome.
You know,
and those esoteric wizard controls are being removed. Just wanted to get that in there. Go on.
That's very good, because what I'm actually seeing as well, the big thing on the planet at the moment is the BRICS group of nations and different countries joining BRICS. But South Africa was one of the first 5 countries to be part of the BRICS agenda. And what I'm seeing here is we are painted as people living on the earth, a completely wrong picture of what BRICS is about. BRICS is basically a cover for the worst and most evil crime syndicate on the planet running at the moment. It's a crime syndicate covered and painted over. This is what the court's bringing out to our attention.
Great.
Yeah.
So this was identified last night from the material that you gave me. So I'm really pleased this came up to the fore. Yes, you're absolutely right about, and there was an industrial complex that literally, you know, CIA funded BRICS. This is really big hitting stuff. You're going to find this ties into the WEF scene and plans for Africa and harvesting of all resources. It's so greedy. It really, really is.
And also the harvesting of organs. And you think to yourself, you know, with all the organ harvesting happening on the earth, what on earth do they do with all these organs? There are not that many people that have been in bad accidents or have that many health issues that they need to harvest organs on such a level. But what they're also doing is with the harvesting of organs, these organs are going off planet where they are being paid vast sums of money.
Exactly. It's worth a fortune for those body parts. It's not just organs, it's other things as well. And they will be fully aware of each individual's past. It ties into the various phases of experimentation that have gone on, and they will be seeking new ways through these organs and body parts to create this mismatching within whatever individual who chooses to receive a foreign organ implant from another being. You're going to see adaptations to their behaviors and the integration of that into the host's individual biological system. So human trafficking also plays a huge part in this.
Yes, because I just want to add in here that also with the organ harvesting and the human trafficking, even, a note sounds revolting, that even human spit contains vital life force, which a lot of the off-planet races lack, and they'll pay vast amounts of money for it. So you can just imagine what they'd be paying in human trafficking if they can actually siphon off the energy of just one human.
Exactly. So this is the type of energy, because we're back to energy and load shedding again. This is the type of energy that they need to prop up their new system. They need it. They haven't got anything else other than that. And they will create from it and implement these structures or frameworks that they need to keep alive and in action. And it's all done at the behest of the human DNA and energy and light. And it's disgusting. So I'm just going to pull in. I'm not going to pull in, I'm going to invite cordially those that are responsible for this to step forward. And here we have alliances as well. There are otherworldly alliances and conglomerates that are just waiting to pick up the pieces. As soon as one person moves out, there'll be another person moving in on that deal, because that has been the way that this structure has operated in the past. They need to make it and survive in the future, and will go to extreme lengths to ensure that this hits the people and their pockets in the right way. For them, not for everybody else. It's total, pure greed. Never seen anything like it.
Well, the courts, with everything that we've mentioned so far, the court obviously, in dealing with the ANC and the various other political parties in this country, are showing us and the viewers the extent of the corruption of this crime syndicate on and off planet. So the court is actually bringing in to the courtroom the various factions and people responsible that are part of this off this planet from many other planetary systems.
Yeah, brilliant. That's brilliant. That's what we want.
Yeah, because what I was seeing, there are these waves coming to the shore of South Africa, and there's a way they are linking all that energy with the energy of the water, and also going all the way up to Antarctica. They have a huge anchorage in that part of the continent.
They do. It's interesting because this has actually been coming onto my radar this week. Once upon a time, I ventured to Antarctica. Oh, and there were many a scientist, many a block, many a military block to me accessing it. So let's just include that in, because actually it's all part of the same structure. We saw this after the First World War, that they moved on to Argentina and other parts, Second World War, sorry, and let's say implemented themselves throughout the Americas. And those that are responsible for this new Schwabenland.
Yeah.
Oh, why do I cringe? Oh, because somebody's really unhappy.
Well, I think not just somebody, a lot of people are unhappy because the court is dissolving all of these political parties in South Africa. And the crime syndicate is being brought to book. So they need to be removed from their places of power that they currently are in. And the court, as they're dissolving and dissolution of all these political parties, they are they've got the books, they're stamping and sealing them and cancelling the power that they've had. It's coming to a brutal end right now in the here and now as I'm talking. It will eventually play out on the 3D, lower 4D Earth linear time zone level. And at the same time that this is taking place, the court is showing us that they are going to be bringing in for South Africa a group of people that will not be ruling it as such, but they'll be creating policies for the country that are good for the people. And they will be cancelling and removing policies that are not good for the people and have their best interests at heart. And this will eventually move into the rest of Africa, and it will take place globally. South Africa is a light into the world as well. And what happens here and starts here will eventually move to become a global, it will take place globally. And as well, the court is, you know, we've been known as the Rainbow Nation, and they bring in that rainbow light frequency energy. And it's going to be sending, as Harrison says, he sees waves out in the ocean. It's going to be sending ripples out into the ocean globally as the vibrational frequency starts to change on the earth politically and on many other levels as well. So the court is actually doing this. I mean, we're seeing an end to the ANC governorship and parties that do not have anybody's best interests at heart, but at the same time, they've got to be replaced with something else. And the something else is these new groups that will create policies that are good for everyone, and also bringing in the rainbow frequencies of light, raising the frequencies up, so that the decisions made by the people that will be replacing these old political parties, that they will be coming from a higher state of consciousness. They'll be aware and they'll be awake, and they'll do whatever they can, not just for mankind, but also for the other kingdoms, the animal kingdom, the mineral kingdom, the plant kingdoms. And yeah, this is what's also taking place.
That's beautiful, because it's the same thing I was seeing, but also to take it a bit further, I'm seeing there's this new spirit that is rising among the citizens of South Africa and all across all over Africa. Is that there's this new breed of young people that are being born and growing up that are not allowing, or that will not allow or tolerate this kind of rulership or governance that is being demonstrated by the government. And the dark is aware of this, so they are trying to find ways to suppress it through technology and ideas and this metaverse kind of thing they are trying to implement. But they are going to have a very difficult time to implement that, because this new spirit is crying for freedom.
Yes, and also what I'm seeing at the same time is that people need to understand, the viewers need to understand that every single country in the world that we're aware of is registered as a corporation in the USA. And that's why we all end up having to pay taxes and everything. We didn't consciously decide to actually sign the forms giving away our freedom to a corporation and to be enslaved by it. So the energy being brought through in this court session as well is the removal of these corporations listed as these various, basically it's different, it's like multinational globalistic companies. They're going to be dissolved. I mean, it's one earth, really. People should be able to move wherever they want. And we can see, for example, in the UK as well, the government's brought in a system where they're trying to control people in a small area, and they'll be penalized and fined if they go beyond their limits, which is ridiculous. And they're trying to make that go globally as well. But it's, the strange thing about that is, which they've started in Oxford, is that if you're traveling in a car, you can only go to a certain zone 100 times. So what's going to happen is the car gets fined, but not the people in it. So if I've got enough money, I'll go and buy 5 cars and I can make 500 trips. The whole thing's ridiculous. And it's the same thing in South Africa. The rules and the new laws that they bring in are the most ridiculous thing, and they do not have people's best interests at heart. And this is what the court is dealing with in this particular session, is this crime syndicate, because what's happening in Britain is they're also part of the crime syndicate, a global organization, and it's all about money. And this is actually being stamped, signed, and sealed, and it's being written off in the session. Enough is enough. It's 2023, and we're moving forward powerfully now to a time where we'll see more freedom and we'll be able to move more freely on the globe. So they're bringing through this energy. And while they're bringing through this energy, the different leaders are trying to stop it.
And this is where we receive exactly the crazy ideologies. Now, I'm just sort of, as you were talking, I could not resist. I could not resist those energies that purport that kind of legal imposition on individuals in Britain. I was gunning for the remaining members of the 15 there in that moment. It is a bit vile, it is a bit dark, as you would expect from those that leave a trail behind them. And I'm just explaining a few things. I am being met with abuse, which is normal for these characters, but I don't care. Call me what you want. um, yeah, so these are now beginning to clear. There's one of them that is buckling. There's one last resistant being that has got a firm input into the way that people live their lives. And this is why I say to people, come along for the resolution of ancestral debt and system karma. This online training relieves you of the hooks that they've got into the individual. Now, what I mean by that is, what I mean by that is that they have their hooks into the souls of the people via contract, via acquiescence, and the people are literally going along with it without even knowing. So I'm just bringing that to the fore. It is available, resolution of ancestral debt and system karma, anything that you've inherited from that system that is not yours and you're paying for. This is why we do what we do at Concordia.
Yes, and I'd just like to add to what you're saying is, and what's also the people that are listening to what you're having to say, Angela, it's very important that they need to understand that if they do this work with you, they are removing the fear, the absolute fear that is being placed upon them by the system and what's been perpetrated.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. It is fear because you cannot move. And your people wonder why that they don't progress because they're still tied in. And with all the best will in the world, domination and control will control your acquiescence as well.
Absolutely.
Of the old world. And for any indigo, for anybody that has an ounce of inner core fire, would not want that. Yet people go around, even in the highest energetic positions, and they're still doing it. So we are here at Concordia Consularis to assist you with that process. This is the purpose of Concordia, to remove those controlling connections that you cannot see. And I'm to do this work, 15 years of my life, the know-how how to do this. And it was a very specific thing. So this is why I offer it out publicly. The prices are very reasonable, and it is literally a small price to pay for your own spiritual liberty and freedom. There'll be those out there, but I can do it myself. I haven't seen evidence of that in any quarter. This is not some fannying around in the playground. No, this is not. This is your life. This is your soul. Why on earth would you want to be hooked in by acquiescence to a system that will rape the living daylights out of you, your ancestral generations that passed, and this has already happened to, and do you want that going into your future? That's the bottom line. Really tough about it. Yes, I am, because there are enough bullshitters in this world that create negative illusions you can undo. We are offering you the truth to access peace at vaster levels of your own being, your whole soul, your whole you. And it's not me saying that you're not good enough, you're not this, you're not that. It's nothing to do with that. This is about soul level responsibility. My soul will speak to your soul, and we will get the picture very quickly as to where those limitations have blocked you from being a supra infinite, unlimited, unconquerable intelligence here on earth. Oops, anyway. Oops, it all came out there.
No, but it's so, no.
It was the coffee.
No, it's absolutely 100% true what you're saying. And it's not just the coffee, it's the work that the court's actually doing, because it's actually also relieving you of being part of any crime syndicate. And we're dealing with crime syndicates in this session in particular. And the crime syndicates can go through from generation to generation. And it needs to also be removed out of your cellular DNA and memory and clear.
Beautiful, yeah, because the system here, it's about it's a debt system, and they know how well to play it and kick the can down the road and pass karma to future generations. So if you're not aware of that,
this is the long game.
Yeah.
I think we froze there for a second. What I'm going to say as well, the court is actually bringing in all the clones and transhumans that is involved with the political parties and structures of South Africa and actually of the globe as well. So they're all being brought in, and they're also going to be dealt with and have got, you know, they're going to be removed, and they are being removed. This is far deeper than we could ever think or imagine. You just see a political figure, but some of them are clones as well, and the clones are being removed. We don't want clones in charge of any country. There needs to be full-blooded human beings. What do you say, Harrison?
Yeah, definitely. And this is how they are able to pass down the karma, because they create these clones and people think this is a being that's making decisions or ruling, and people project or put projections onto that clone, whilst there's another peripheral of beings that surrounding that being that are making decision on their behalf.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, we did break up in the middle of all that from my part, and I do apologise to the listener for the shoddy internet signals that we do get during these broadcasts. I'm really sorry about that, but we're not quite in high society where it's all flowing in the right way. But the vibe of what you're saying, yes, it is. It's held in the generations, not only the individual. But it does come out through the DNA, and people just have become so used to suppression that it's normal. And that is not on. Who wants that? Who wants that, and who will admit it? We have a tremendous battle of it, people having battles with their internal egos, belief systems, programming, and then the transhumanism in the lineages as well. We need to really take that into consideration. The more of it that is present in the past generations, you have inherited that from a generational trauma perspective, and you will be manifesting that out. And yes, it does get a bit wild and wacky out there. Yes, it does. But it goes to show how much control has been applied to your individual journey on the planet. And why do I speak so strongly about it? Because I've seen it, I've experienced it myself, but I've also experienced it at the other end where it can go. And it can lead you into the strongest, higher dimensional perspectives of your own soul on your journey here. And once humans, souls, spirits align to themselves, unhindered by domination and control, that's when we get the real juicy interactions on Earth. That means that the people can actually live their soul paths instead of questioning and disconnecting themselves through thought, through belief, through action, through programming, and liberate themselves from this scenario that they have lived from an infinite perspective. Anyway, guys, how's that all looking in that court? I think they've just received the smash of a lifetime.
Well, it's looking very well, and what they've been showing me is also what's happened is that the political leaders here, because it's a crime syndicate, what they've had to do in order to remain in power, it's like to keep the flow going. And it's the flow of what? It's the flow of human trafficking that is taking place through what they are using are the submarines in Simonstown, Cape Town, to move the children out of the country and they take them out to sea, where they are taken onto other submarines belonging to other countries, and they're also taken off world. So all the perpetrators and people involved in, whether they've agreed to it or not, that somehow have got involved in actually working on these submarines. There might be one or two light workers there trying their best to bring the light to the situation, but the rest are also heavily involved and are being paid, and they are being handled by their handlers, if you will, you know, with other secret military operations. And they're going to be shutting this down. So these submarines won't be able to easily move into the oceans anymore with the children. They are being stopped. They're being closed down on a spiritual light level, which eventually might take a few more weeks, but physically it will come down, and this operation will be ended.
Great. Great news.
I've always wondered how they disappear and where do they go. Now we've got the answer. It's through the submarines.
Exactly. And those, you know, hundreds of megawatt capabilities.
You know, I mean, if it was above land, we would see it. But what do we see? We don't look under the ocean.
No.
Yeah, and all the gold they need for that kind of human trafficking offload kind of a scene. So this is why, for you listeners there, you know why gold is king in terms of being searched for.
Yeah, it is. So all the souls that are linked into this process, now let's just upshift.
You know,
I smile.
Yes, we've also got to remember that we're also being helped by the mammals in the ocean, and the whales are being brought in to assist in working with the sound technology to stop the submarines. You think, well, how are they going to be stopped? But the whales are going to be hampering through sound technology, the technology on board these vessels, where they literally won't be able to move.
I love that, because they're also closing off the timelines that were used to perpetuate it well. So that's just beautiful.
Yeah, because I'm seeing a new crop germinating on the land of Africa. So meaning the new era of light that we're already in. So there's nothing that can stop that. It's already here.
Exactly. So let's just review the souls that are present. How are they looking? Because we had a dramatic impact with the spiritual court of equity and the way that people perceive the global corporatists and organizations, WEF people, etc. We've already witnessed a shift in thinking from individuals, which is great, and long may it continue. So it's going to happen in a similar way. It's going to be drip fed. Some will be able to take it more strongly in their realizations. And then that's going to expand.
Yes, and what happens is that, you know, after we do these court sittings, it doesn't take that long, and information comes out, whether it's on YouTube or Rumble or just around you. You see the results, and you see the change in consciousness, the change in people's thinking, and it's helping people to actually wake up as well, because we're raising up to a different vibrational frequency, and certain things aren't a match anymore. And it's playing out right in front of us, where we actually see and acknowledge it and think, oh, well, that's what they said, but now I'm seeing it.
Exactly. So that's really great. And guys, what's the status of this spiritual court of equity at the moment? I'm just ensuring that there are other things that need to be ironed out before we close.
Well, the court is going to be dealing with all the BRICS nations, not just South Africa and the African National Congress. It's the crime syndicates and the gangs running the earth in the disguise of different political parties globally. So the ANC is basically just a name for a crime syndicate or an old gang of people that have been part of this crime syndicate for generations after generation after generation. And as you're saying, Angela, you know, people should come to you and they should do a session and remove it out of their ancestry. And this is actually how it happens. We're dealing with South Africa, so we see it on a political level, moving through the ancestry and the generations of the country, which to the point that we are now at, and we're releasing it for the country and for the world, but people need to do it in their own lives as well.
Absolutely, 100% correct. So what are, can you see the core of it closing down?
It's already been shut down.
Good. I'm just double checking. I'm a double, triple checker. You probably noticed that. I keep asking the same question because each comes with a different stage.
Yeah, because I was seeing since every single country is a conglomerate registered in one place and they're being traded, that megalithic kind of document is being smashed and torn to pieces. So
great.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, fantastic, Harrison.
Yeah.
It is. It's literally, nope, it will not be tolerated. So that's really great, guys. Thank you very much for doing this wonderful work. It's really great and will benefit future generations to come. So that's what we're about here at Concordia Consularis. We want all generations to succeed because we've been through it. Now it's time to come out of the other side and enjoy your beautiful spiritual existence on earth, unhindered, unlimited, without trouble, grief, or pain. So yeah. Now, I'm going to mention it again. Do come along to the Quantum Love Experience, which is designed to upshift your frequency to a point that will benefit all areas of your life, personally, interpersonally, and also on a soul level, where you can start living your soul's agenda unhindered by baggage. I'm going to put it like that. Yeah. And that baggage that you carry will eventually, if left unaddressed, turn into a chronic health condition that will manifest in 3D reality because it is undealt with at a core level. And people really need to understand and become aware of that, is that any soul sickness that you experience left unaddressed will be a chronic condition within 3 months, hit you at the age of 40 like a ton of bricks, and you'll end up wondering why that has happened, and you will become dependent on a pharmaceutical system that does not have the answers to clear these issues at a core frequency in you. You'll be applied with medications that will elongate, possibly, maybe create a bit of relief, but there'll be numerous side effects that contribute to whatever condition it is that you experience. And we're really going to be focusing this year on the clinical side of this work that affects the human physical form of everything that you do and live, based on what your soul, your spirit, and your choices have interacted with in this lifetime and all other lifetimes. And this is where I really love this work, is because actually it's not just woo-woo in the air. This is your body that we're talking about. This is your housing that we're talking about, and your experience also. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. in this incredibly potent spiritual court of equity. Thank you, guys,
yes, it's
for your wonderful input.
And I just want to say to the viewers, give us a like. We love your likes, so just like, and like.
Yeah, and also comment.
We're good in all of this. You know, give us a little like. Share if you dare. Yeah, but look, we're really, you know, giving a tremendous service here. Do make use of it. Interact with us, because we've all met before. And we can
Absolutely.
do this. Any final words, guys?
I'd like to thank our viewers for listening and for being a part of it. And, you know, once again, I'd like to just mention the fact that in these sessions, there are also hidden energy activations. So just by listening to it, you'll receive an energy activation. And the activations are actually also bringing in a sense of peace and love into your hearts and into your vibrational frequency and into your cellular structure. So as you listen to these sessions, the activations become stronger and stronger.
Thank you, Derek, for saying that. Concordia spiritual activation. Oh, dear.
Yeah. No, it's not just what's said. There's also, as I say, there's energy activations and codes that are actually written into the course.
Yes. Through every single word. Harrison, ¿qué pasó?
Yeah, what I'd like to tell our viewers, we love you, and I wish you all this peace that surpasses our understanding to come to you. And the courts are really doing a great job in assisting in the shift, but also I'd like to throw this ball on your court to actually do your personal work and your daily activities in terms of improving yourself and your growth, so that you may absorb what you have done here.
That's beautiful.
Great,
well
great
said,
advice.
Harrison.
Yeah, fundamental. We have to look within where all the answers are. None of this external projection nonsense. Internal, that's where every single bit of information that's come into your experience ever is. And we just need to look at it from a balanced heart perspective. You'll be fine. And don't be afraid of what you find, because there's always a resolution and a solution for that. So, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Love you. I really do.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Harrison.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.